In the opulent stillness of Emilio's mansion, a cool breeze blew through the half-open windows, bringing with it the distant murmur of the ocean. The silk curtains danced softly, as if sharing a secret with the wind. Emilio, a man whose presence imbued any room with gravity, was about to embark on a business trip that, like so many others, had gone unannounced to his family. He believed that success lay in surprises, in unexpected changes of plans. And so he departed, leaving behind only the echo of his firm footsteps on the gleaming marble. While Emilio lost himself in meetings and contracts, Marta, the dedicated maid, took on a role that went beyond her duties. She wasn't just the guardian of the home, she was the beacon guiding little Pedrito through the storm of longing. Marta, with her generous heart and welcoming smile, knew the boy missed his father, and even without words, she promised herself that she would be the anchor Pedrito so desperately needed. The days passed with an almost musical cadence, amidst heartfelt laughter and made-up games. Marta told stories under the golden light of the late afternoon, her eyes reflecting the tenderness of someone seeing the world for the first time through the eyes of a child. For Pedrito, Marta wasn't just a maid. She was a friend, a confidant, someone who filled the void left by his absent father. But in a distant corner of the world, beyond the safe walls of the mansion, Emilio's universe was beginning to crumble. Unexpected financial crisis was looming like a devastating storm, threatening to destroy everything he had so painstakingly built. The phone rang incessantly, bringing worrying news, each call a blow to his confidence. Emilio, who had always considered himself invincible, felt the sand slipping through his fingers, powerless in the face of the impending calamity. Back at the mansion, Marta, despite being oblivious to the details, felt the weight of Emilio's absence on the atmosphere. Without hesitation, she decided she had to do something. With quiet determination, she began managing the house with even greater precision, ensuring that everything worked like a perfectly tuned machine. When Pedrito cried with longing, Marta was there to wipe away his tears, offering a warm hug and words of comfort that, though simple, carried indescribable power. One night, as Marta was putting Pedrito to bed, she whispered, "Your father loves you very much, Pedrito. He always comes back to those he loves." And as she said this, she felt a pang in her heart, fearing that the promise would not be fulfilled as soon as she had hoped. Time dragged on, and each day without news of Emilio was a testament to the uncertainty that hung over the mansion. Marta, now the guardian not only of Pedrito, but of the very balance of the home, prayed silently for a miracle that would bring Emilio back, not only physically, but also emotionally, to the son who missed him so much. Finally, on a morning like any other, the sound of an approaching car broke the usual silence of the day. Marta, her heart racing, ran to the window. At the mansion's entrance, Emilio was getting out of the car, his expression filled with weariness and worry. But there was something else in his eyes, a fierce determination that Marta recognized immediately. She knew the financial storm still loomed, but in that moment, seeing Emilio finally home, Marta felt that together they could face any adversity. The Millionaire's return was just the beginning of a new phase, a prelude to even greater challenges to come, but also an opportunity for Emilio to realize the true value of what he had left behind. Night fell lazily over the city, casting a blanket of shadows and lights over Emilio's imposing mansion. Having just returned from a grueling journey, he felt like a castaway in his own life, seeking within those familiar walls some relief from the turmoil consuming him within. With its silence, the house seemed to harbor the murmurs of a distant past, each wall holding secrets Emilio had left behind in his relentless pursuit of success. As he pushed open the heavy wooden door, a soft sound of children's laughter drew him into the living room. There, in a setting that seemed to have been taken from a distant dream, stood Marta, the faithful maid he trusted so much, embracing Pedrito with maternal tenderness. The bright-eyed boy nestled in her arms as if seeking refuge from a passing night. Emilio felt an unexpected warmth rise in his chest, but the scene quickly distorted in his weary and suspicious mind. A betrayal of trust. That was how Emilio interpreted that moment, his mind entangled in the complications of his professional life that were slowly seeping into his personal perception. "Marta, what's going on here?" Emilio's voice cut through the air like a blade, filled with disbelief and a rage he hadn't known he possessed. Marta, still surprised by her boss's sudden arrival, tried to articulate an explanation, but her words were lost in the void between them. Pedrito, sensing the discomfort and fear in the air, held on even tighter to Marta, his tears beginning to flow, silently. "Please, Emilio, you misunderstood," Marta began, her voice trembling with the urgency of someone clinging to the edge of a cliff. "I was just telling Pedrito a story. He was afraid of the dark." But Emilio, overcome by an avalanche of conflicting emotions, was not about to listen. "Enough, Marta. I trusted you, and now this. Consider yourself fired." Those words, spoken so coldly, cut Marta's heart like invisible knives. Pedrito, desperate, let out a choked cry. "No, Daddy. Don't send Marta away." His words echoed through the room like an echo of pure, helpless pain. Emilio, taken aback by the intensity of his son's plea, hesitated for a moment, but his determination seemed unshakable. As this desperate scene unfolded, Rodrigo, the malicious investor Emilio had met during his trip, watched, from a distance, a barely perceptible smile playing on his lips. He was a man of hidden ambitions, one who spun his webs with patience and cunning. Rodrigo knew that Emilio's financial crisis was his golden opportunity. "Emilio, my old friend, what a surprise to see you back so soon," Rodrigo greeted, appearing like a shadow amid the tension. His voice was a mix of sympathy and something deeper, something more slippery. "Rodrigo," Emilio replied, his voice still tense. "I didn't expect to see you here." "I came to offer my support, of course," Rodrigo continued, his words as sweet as honey. "I know you're going through a difficult time. Perhaps we could discuss a partnership. A majority stake in your company could ease your trouble." The offer hung in the air, seductive and dangerous. Emilio, already weakened by his recent confrontation with Marta, was tempted, but something in Rodrigo's expression made him hesitate. Was this the magic solution to his problems, or just an invitation to even greater disaster? Marta, sensing the tension in the room, wiped away her tears and, with renewed determination, decided she wouldn't let Rodrigo destroy what Emilio had built. "Please, Emilio, you can't trust him. Rodrigo isn't who he seems." Rodrigo, trying to maintain his pose as a benevolent ally, gave Marta a cold look, his facade of cordiality threatening to shatter. "You've always been a woman of strong opinions, Marta. Maybe it's best to focus on your work, if you still have it." The silent battle between them was just beginning, each aware that Emilio's future hung by a tenuous thread. Emilio, at the center of this emotional turmoil, needed to decide who he could truly trust. The mansion, a silent witness to so many stories, waited in silence for this new chapter to unfold, while the night deepened, bringing with it promises of revelations and twists no one could have foreseen. As night still fell like a dark blanket over the village, Marta felt the weight of her worries pounding in her mind like a relentless drum. Her hands trembled slightly as she walked through the mansion's garden, the moon casting dancing shadows beneath her feet. She knew she needed guidance, and only one person could offer her the wisdom she sought. Donna Clara, the village elder, whose presence was as comforting as a roaring fire on a cold night. Arriving at Donna Clara's small hut, Marta hesitated for a moment, absorbing the serenity that emanated from the place. The door creaked softly as Clara opened it, her wrinkled face lit by a warm smile and her eyes shining with timeless wisdom. "Come in, Marta. I've been waiting for you," Clara said, her voice soft as the morning breeze. Sitting at the table, surrounded by the aroma of dried herbs and lit candles, Marta poured out her fears and doubts, each word charged with emotion and despair. Donna Clara listened intently, her eyes never leaving Marta's face. "Rodrigo is not what he seems," Clara warned, her voice firm and clear. "He carries shadows in his heart, and his intentions are as murky as deep waters. You must fight for the truth, Marta, for Emilio, and for yourself." Clara's words echoed in Marta's mind as she returned to the mansion, each step firmer than the last. Determined to protect Emilio and reveal the truth behind Rodrigo's actions, Marta began her investigation. The nights became her allies, and the darkness her cloak, as she sifted through documents and transactions. It was in one of these solitary moments that Marta found what she was looking for. Irrefutable evidence of Rodrigo's criminal ties, hidden beneath the facade of respectability. However, the path to exposing the truth was strewn with thorns. Rodrigo, a master manipulator, was always one step ahead, using his influence to silence those who dared question him. And Emilio, oh, Emilio, so blinded by the past, still viewed Marta with suspicion, his conflicting feelings driving a wedge between them. "Are you doing this for revenge, Marta?" he questioned, the pain and doubt in his voice cutting like a sharp blade. But amid this storm of uncertainty, something began to shift within Emilio. Marta's words and actions, driven by unwavering courage, planted seeds of doubt in his heart. He began to reflect on his mistakes, his rash judgments, and the truth he had ignored. Sleepless nights became his companions, and with each one, Emilio questioned not only his perception of Marta, but also his own decisions, the ones that had led him to this breaking. And as the days passed, each one more tense than the last, Marta knew she was approaching a crucial point. The truth, like an insistent flame, began to illuminate the shadows Rodrigo had cast. But she also knew the final confrontation was near, and that she would need all her strength to face not only Rodrigo, but also her own fears and the uncertainty in Emilio's heart. Every movement, every word, every decision was now a vital piece in this complex game. The mansion, a mute witness to the fate of so many hearts, remained silent, awaiting the outcome of this intricate plot. And amidst it all, Emilio's fate and the truth Marta so desperately sought hung like a fragile balance, ready to tip one way or the other. In the stillness of the mansion, where every shadow seemed to tell a story and every sigh echoed like an unfulfilled promise, time moved forward with painful slowness. Emilio, the millionaire who had returned unexpectedly, found himself caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions that robbed him of sleep. The palpable tension between him and Marta, the maid whose presence had become an inevitable fixture in his life, was a delicate dance between despair and hope. Emilio, a man accustomed to controlling his universe with a simple snap of his fingers, now found himself vulnerable to the unexpected strength of the feelings Marta awakened within him. Each encounter between them was a whirlwind of glances charged with hidden meaning, words spoken and unspoken, gestures that spoke louder than any speech. And even amidst the emotional turmoil, small gestures of kindness emerged like twinkling stars on a dark night. A shared smile, a book purposely left on the table, a coffee served with special care. These were the moments that rekindled sparks of understanding between them, reminding them that there was something deeper than the apparent conflict. Pedrito, Emilio's son, was a sensitive child whose keen perception captured the underlying pain in the house's atmosphere. He watched Marta with eyes that shone with wisdom beyond his years, and sensed the torment that hung over her like a dark cloud. Determined to help, the boy locked himself in his room one night, intent on writing a letter to his father. With trembling hands but a firm heart, he poured his emotions onto paper, begging Emilio to give Marta a chance to see beyond appearances and recognize the truth that he himself, in his innocence, had already perceived. "Dad, Marta is good. She's like Mom. Please don't hurt her. Give her a chance. For us." Pedrito's words were simple, but they carried the weight of unconditional love, a love Emilio could no longer ignore. Moved by his son's letter, Emilio felt a new determination well up within him. He knew he needed to look beyond appearances, beyond the manipulations that might have blinded him. Determined to uncover the truth, Emilio headed to the mansion's control room, where the security recordings held secrets he needed to uncover. The screens flashed before him, showing days and nights gone by in the blink of an eye. Emilio watched, heart racing, Marta's silent dedication, her gentle gestures, her suppressed tears when she thought she was alone. And then, Rodrigo's figure emerged from the recordings, his frustration and manipulative words revealed in a relentless loop of silent betrayal. Emilio saw how Rodrigo, someone he had trusted, had become a mastermind of intrigue, manipulating reality to serve his own petty interests. The impact of the revelation was like thunder, resonating in every fiber of Emilio's being. He realized he had been deceived, that the suspicion cast on Marta was a shadow created by Rodrigo, an illusion he had naively accepted as truth. Understanding washed over him like a cascade of icy water, washing away his doubts and fears, leaving in their place a painful clarity. With a heavy but determined heart, Emilio knew he had to act. The mansion, a silent witness to so many stories, eagerly awaited the next chapter, the outcome that would finally bring to light the truth hidden in the shadows. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, marked by confrontations and revelations, but he was ready to face whatever came. As the sun began to rise, bathing the mansion in golden light, Emilio stepped out of the control room, his heart pounding with new resolve. He was about to confront Rodrigo, free Marta from the chains of doubt, and seek the redemption he so desperately yearned. And above all, he knew this journey was not just for him, but for Pedrito, for Marta, and for the promise of a future where truth could finally blossom. As the sun set, tinting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Emilio headed for the deserted beach where everything was about to unfold. The wind blew hard, as if sensing the emotional storm to come. Emilio, with each step sinking lightly into the cold sand, felt his heart beat like war drums in his chest. He clutched the briefcase containing the evidence that would incriminate Rodrigo, the man who had been a thorn in his side for too long. Rodrigo was already there, at the water's edge, the tide lapping at his expensive shoes. He looked at Emilio, his dark eyes shining with a mixture of defiance and disdain. "Emilio, coming to confront me with bravado," he sneered, his voice echoing with venom disguised as courtesy. "These aren't bravado, Rodrigo," Emilio replied, his voice as steady as a rock. "They're proof of your involvement in all the fraud you've woven. The time has come for you to face the consequences." Rodrigo laughed, a harsh sound like broken glass. "You think you can take me down? I'm untouchable." But before Rodrigo could boast any further, the sound of sirens cut through the air. Red and blue lights flashed in the distance, rapidly approaching. Emilio hadn't come alone. He had brought justice with him. Rodrigo tried to escape, but the treacherous sand made his steps difficult. Law enforcement officers, led by Roberto, a stern-looking officer with relentless determination, surrounded Rodrigo and took him into custody. "Rodrigo, you're under arrest," Roberto declared authoritatively, handcuffing the man who had caused so much harm. With Rodrigo taken away by the authorities, Emilio felt an immense weight lifted from his shoulders. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore seemed like a silent applause from nature, celebrating the victory of truth over corruption. Later, back at the mansion, Emilio found Marta in the garden under the soft moonlight. She was tending the flowers as she did every night, a routine that brought peace to her troubled heart. Seeing him, Marta stopped, surprised, but with a cautious reserve still tinging her gaze. "Marta," Emilio began, his voice thick with sincerity and regret. "I came to apologize. For a long time, I let Rodrigo's lies poison our relationship. But now, all that is over. You are a vital part of our lives. Of my life. And of Pedrito's life." Emilio's words were like a breeze sweeping through the garden, touching Marta's heart. She felt a wave of emotion wash over her, silent tears shining in her eyes. "Emilio, I always wanted the best for Pedrito. And for you too," she confessed, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. Emilio approached, taking Marta's hands in his, a gesture that sealed not only peace between them, but also a new beginning. "I would like you to continue with us, caring for Pedrito, not just as his caregiver, but as part of our family, with mutual respect and gratitude." Marta nodded, a soft smile lighting her face. "I would be honored," she said, her voice carrying a warmth that warmed the chilly night. In the days that followed, the mansion, which had previously seemed shrouded in shadows of suspicion and distrust, became a place of laughter and hope. Emilio learned to cherish every moment with Pedrito, every smile from Marta. He discovered that the true treasure lay not in his fortune, but in the love and trust that had finally blossomed between them. The family, now united, was like a tapestry woven with threads of love, redemption, and renewal. And so, as the sun rose again, Emilio, Marta, and Pedrito were ready to walk together toward a future where happiness was not just a distant dream, but a tangible and sweet reality. If you were moved by this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and comment below on what you liked most. Your opinion is very important to us. Share this video with someone who needs an inspiring story. Until next time,